The streetlights flickered against a backdrop of relentless white. Mark checked his watch for the 10th time, 11:15 p.m. He had been sitting in the corner booth of The Toasted Bean since 7, nursing a lukewarm coffee that had long since lost its steam. His blind date, Sarah, hadn't shown up. No text, no call, just the cold silence of a ghosting. The cafe owner, a sympathetic man named Elias, began stacking chairs. Heading out, Mark? The storm's getting worse. They're saying it's the heaviest snowfall in a decade. Mark sighed, wrapping his scarf tight. Yeah, Elias. I think I've been stood up. It's fine. Maybe fate is telling me to stay single a while longer. He stepped out into the biting air. The wind howled through the city's concrete canyons, and the sidewalk was buried under 6 inches of fresh powder. Mark began the 3-block trek to the subway, his head down against the gale. As he approached the glass-walled bus shelter on 4th Street, he saw them. At first, he thought it was just a pile of discarded blankets, but then he saw the rhythmic puff of white breath. Huddled in the corner of the shelter was a young woman, perhaps in her late 20s. She was wearing a threadbare coat that offered no real protection against the sub-zero temperatures. Tucked inside her jacket, wrapped in a thin fleece blanket, was a boy no older than 4. He was shivering so violently that his teeth rattled. The buses stopped running an hour ago, Mark said, his voice soft so as not to startle her. The woman looked up, her eyes wide and rimmed with red. Her face was deathly pale. I didn't know, she whispered. We just moved. Our heater broke in the apartment, it was colder inside than out. I thought we could get to my sister's place across town. Mark looked at the boy, whose lips were tinged with a faint, frightening blue. In that moment, the sting of being stood up vanished. His own problems felt microscopic compared to the survival unfolding in front of him. I have a car parked just around the corner, Mark lied. His car was actually 6 blocks away, but he wasn't going to let them sit there a second longer. I'm a teacher at the local middle school. My name is Mark. Please, let me help you. He took off his heavy wool overcoat, the one he'd bought specifically to impress his date, and wrapped it around both of them. He guided them through the snow, shielding them from the wind with his own body. When they reached his car, he cranked the heat to its maximum setting. The woman, whose name was Elena, slowly began to thaw. Her son, Leo, finally stopped shivering and fell into a deep, exhausted sleep against her chest. Mark didn't just drop them off. Finding out their apartment was a literal icebox due to a negligent landlord, he drove them to a nearby 24-hour diner, bought them a hot meal, and then checked them into a warm hotel room using the money he had saved for his fancy blind date. Why are you doing this? Elena asked as he handed her the room key. You don't even know us. Mark smiled, a genuine warmth reaching his eyes for the first time that night. I spent 4 hours tonight waiting for someone who didn't care enough to show up. It made me realize how much it matters to show up for the people who actually need it. That night didn't lead to a whirlwind romance, at least, not right away. It led to a friendship built on the sturdiest foundation possible, humanity. Mark helped Elena find a legal aid clinic to deal with her landlord. He checked in on Leo, bringing him a proper winter parka and boots. Over months of coffee dates that weren't blind, but very much intentional, Mark and Elena realized that the storm hadn't been a disaster, it had been a delivery system. A year later, Mark stood in the same spot by the bus shelter, but the snow was gone, replaced by the mild air of spring. He wasn't alone. Leo was holding his hand, and Elena was by his side. He realized then that if Sarah had shown up for that date, he would have walked right past that bus shelter. He would have stayed in the cafe, shielded from the cold, and missed the greatest blessing of his life. True love isn't found in a perfect plan, it's found in the wreckage of a broken one. If this story moved you, remember that a single act of kindness can change a person's entire world. Asterisk like if you believe in second chances. Share to spread hope. Comment with a red heart if you've ever been helped by a stranger.